What's going on, everybody? This is JP Trades. Let's jump back into the Bitcoin chart. Let's do a quick daily update. All right, so let's come into what was going on yesterday, what happened yesterday, what kind of trades did we take yesterday. We had this order block in our 1 hour range. This was in our discount section of the range, the golden zone of our range, had some nice confluence here. Took a couple longs from this area, did really nice. We did not come down and take this negative point of control out just yet. So this still remains. So I'm still kind of wanting to come down here to take that out, but we'll see what happens. I have long this from this morning, still in this long, in profit, and stop loss has been fully de-risked, or rather the trade has been de-risked. Stop loss is above in profit. Now, yesterday I was watching this trend line, and this is another reason why I don't take trend line trades. I do look at trend lines. However, I look at trend lines through the lens of liquidity, and I have a set of rules on how I use trend lines, but I don't trade trend lines, okay? And this is a very, very good example of why I don't trade trend lines. A lot of people come up here, and as soon as people see this breakout of this trend line, will go long. Those people got trapped in this wick, and it had a very nice 30-minute SFP. I shorted this. Come on. I shorted this SFP, and that short is in the VIP Discord. I walked y'all through that, where I took profits, where I moved my stop losses, how I managed the trade. But this was an example of why I don't trade breakouts, why I think it's a horrible idea. Furthermore, a lot of people will wait for this trend line to break out, they come back, retest, and then long the retest. Again, if you are not looking at structure first and foremost and saw this nice 30-minute selling tail, 30-minute swing failure pattern, you would have longed somewhere around here just solely based on your trend line. And I'm just trying to warn y'all about doing that. You're going to get trapped. You're going to be one of these players right here in this wick, and you'll get liquidated and stopped out. And I actually trade against those people all the time. And that's why I'm bringing it to your attention, because it's a great example of how to counter trade those trend line traders. And we are trading alongside big money here. There was a level of absorption right here. So if we continue on, you could also say that now you just need to move your trend line. And we did break above it, retest. You had a nice scalp, but it didn't end up really going anywhere. Again, this could have been a retest long. Again, another nice scalp. Nothing wrong with that. However, this could just end up being another way to fake people out, trap all these traders are going long, and then you come back in and start trading below that trend line again. Or you just simply come down further on top of this trend line and stop out everyone in those longs, right? Hold on just 1 second. Okay, I had to check out my trade. All right. So let's get into volume. Let's get this trend line off of our screen, because we definitely don't need that when we have all these static lines that are not subjective. Again, trend lines can be subjective to some degree. Not to saying that they cannot work, because they obviously do. I have some friends that trade trend lines by themselves, and they do really, really well. You just have to get really good at it and guard your trade accordingly and be ready for those fake outs. But if you understand what to look for, yeah, you can definitely make some money with trend lines. But I prefer to use trend lines as another layer of confluence, as just kind of like a cherry on top, right? Just kind of something else to look as a guide, but I'm still looking at these order blocks and high volume, high time frame key levels because they are static. They don't move. They're not subjective. They're set at a certain price, right? So that's why I like them. As well as they give you a area to long and to put a stop loss or invalidation, right? So this order block is a way to have a set in stone, non-subjective stop loss. A nice rejection right there. Okay, let's get back into some TA. So earlier, the point of control was actually up here where the VWAP was, but now it just moved down. Let's go back and check from this low as well. Okay, yeah, that's where point of control was earlier. But the local fixed range is now changing a bit. Yeah, I really would like to come back down, sweep these lows into this naked point of control and long from this area. However, same as yesterday, a lot of the trades are exact same as yesterday because we have not moved out of this 1 hour range. We're just simply making a range inside of this 1 hour range. However, I would love to sweep that low, 1 hour low into the value area low here, into this order block, or even lower, hit that one, then come back above this low for a nice SFP up. That would still maintain 1 hour bullish market structure. And then we could look to take that trade from here or here all the way up to here. So we do have the golden pocket down here, the golden zone. But 1 hour market structure would more than likely break back bearish to get to this area. So if we did come down to this area and this area, yes, we could long and still turn back bullish. That is a possibility. However, I would want to see 1 hour structure turn back bullish, not just like a 15-minute or a 5-minute here. Because if you get below this line here, 1 hour is going to be bearish. So again, SFP of these highs, SFP of these lows is possible, SFP of these lows, SFP of these lows in this order block. All those are great trades, even an SFP of these lows into this order block. And we're not going to worry about this until we break out of this 1 hour range. However, if we do, this naked point of control here would be a nice short zone. But it all depends on how we come into that level. So keep your eyes out on that. Let's take this off now. Let's do one more volume pull from here. Yeah, you're just really bouncing around VWAP and point of control right now. All you have at this moment in time is really some scalp trades until you kind of break out of this consolidation here. All right, so that's where I'm going to leave you all. I'll update the Discord and see what trades I take, and I'll update the trades I take. I am still long in this trade right here from this order block but just because I'm long doesn't mean I don't want to see lower. Okay. This long was just intended as a scalp with a runner. So if it decides that this point right here was the rejection to come down lower, that's okay. We will look for a long at all these other levels. Set your alerts, watch for confirmations, have proper risk management. Check out later.